Hello everyone, Chris G here. It's been a while since I've been YouTubing due to moving back to Virginia, getting a new job, and overall settling into where I'm going to live for the next couple of years until my next big hike. For today's video, I want to talk about how to ditch your bed for a hammock. This is a question that I get from a lot of folks. Most of them are hammock people that want to start sleeping in their hammock all the time, every night. And it's a good question. There are a lot of benefits to this. You can use Google just as well as I can, but a lot of the benefits people talk about are they wake up with less aches, pains, sore. It's easier to fall asleep. That rocking motion really helps put me to sleep. But that's what today's video is about. And next we're going to talk about what you need to ditch your bed for a hammock. Alright guys, we relocated to the table and we're going to talk about what you need to ditch your bed for a hammock. The first thing you need is some way to hang your hammock up. There are basically two options for this. You can get a stand online or maybe just order yourselves one, or you can do a wall mounting system. First thing we're going to talk about are stands. There are some pretty common ones like the Tens of Four and the Tato Gear stand, and those are pretty nice stands made by manufacturers. What I did is the first option we're going to talk about. I got a cheap hammock stand off Amazon. I think it was 80 bucks. It's some tube steel that's bent into U shapes, and I'm going to show you a picture of it right beside of me. I've had it for like 4 years. It fits a Eno double nest perfectly. It won't fit some of your longer hammocks, like if you have an 11-foot hammock, it won't fit it. But for me, it was perfect for transitioning into sleeping in a hammock. And the next option, I'll show you a little picture up beside of me, is called a Tens of Four stand. This one is a little bit complicated to put up. It's pretty light. Personally, I've sat in one. They're pretty nice stands, but I don't know if I would have one every night. They're kind of finicky when you set them up. If you don't lay them perfectly, they can mousetrap on you. There's a lot of good videos on YouTube of people that are setting them up and they purposely setting it wrong, and the stand collapses in on them like that. So that's not a good thing. And the last one we're going to talk about is the Tato Gear stand. The stands I've seen in person, this is pretty much the nicest one. It's made out of aluminum. The top rail on it is 13 feet long, so you can fit your 11-foot hammock. I've seen people that put their tarp on the stand too. It's really nice, but the issue with that is you have to find a spot inside your house or your basement or wherever that is where you have a 13 feet that you can work with. For people like me that stay in an apartment, 13 feet is kind of a big measurement for people with close quarters, so you have to take that in mind when you're looking for a stand for your hammock. The next option you could go with, if you own your property or the people that you rent from are okay, are wall mounts. I don't know a lot about this option. I'll put a picture up on the wall beside of me that you guys can see it. Basically have to drill holes in your wall, get you some mounts that are rated for the weight that you're going to be putting on it, and hang them up. The Ultimate Hang has a hang calculator that you can use for this if you're going to put up permanent wall anchors for your hammock. They look like a really good option if you don't have space to put a stand in, so you can put your hammock up, you can take it out, put other things in that area, and you can use the area for other things. And so next we're going to talk about my 3 tips on transitioning, but for that we're going to go upstairs to my inside hammock setup. Alright, hey guys, now I'm going to give you 3 tips for transitioning to sleeping in your hammock at home instead of your bed. My first tip is don't try to transition cold turkey and just say, I'm going to throw my bed away and I'm going to sleep in my hammock whether I like it or not. Those of us that have slept in a hammock on long trips and for weekends and stuff know that there's a little bit of a transition period, so you want to keep your bed around, and what I suggest is just start doing it on weekends. That way if you don't get the best rest, you can, start again. You can try again the next day and still be alright instead of just saying you're going to sleep in your hammock even if it ruins your sleep. The second transition tip is the tip I actually got from a Hammock Forums member, and that's when you're transitioning every night, go and lay in your hammock for a few hours before bed just to get used to it. Even if you lay in your hammock and then get up and go to bed, that's fine. Just get used to it little by little. And what I'll do a lot, if I can't sleep in my bed, I'll get up and lay in my hammock, and the rocking back and forth motion usually either gets me tired enough to where I can get up and go lay in my bed, or just sleep in my hammock the whole night. And the last tip for transitioning is just be persistent about it. If you want to do it on the weekend, do it every weekend, do it every day until you get to the point where you're doing it as much as you want, or you're doing it to where it makes you comfortable to sleep at night. And a lot of people claim that sleeping in the hammock at night instead of their bed relieves a lot of the pressure on their lower back and items like that. I know I have issues with my lower back that I've had for years, and sleeping in a hammock makes them feel so much better. I'm less stiff when I wake up. And so those are some tips for transitioning from your bed to a hammock. Now we're going to talk about my hammock setup for inside my room. As you can tell, it's my bed right there. It's my hammock right beside of it. This stand, the little black tube steel, came from Amazon, and we talked about it earlier. It was about $80 shipped to my door. It fits this hammock right here, which is an double nest that I've had for a long time. It fits this really well. You don't have to do any extra pieces. You just take the carabiner, put it on these little S hooks right here, and get right in. And for the hammock, like I said, this is double nest. The cheap Amazon stand that I got can only fit that. It can't fit any wider hammocks I've tried, and they just drag the ground. This is a nice pillow that I won from a Hammock Forums raffle at Grayson Highlands. It's a Climate Luxe pillow, and it's just one of the blow-up pillows. I found that the best pillow for a hammock, even if you are inside, is the pillow that they make just for the hammock, because it fits down in there nicely. If you get a bigger pillow, it'll kind of spill over a little bit, and it won't be as comfortable. For me, the blanket that I use is this 50-degree burrow from Hammock Gear, their top quilt. And I really like using their top quilt instead of like a blanket or a sheet. I do use a sheet sometimes in the summer when it's a little bit warmer, but I like the foot box on this so I can put my feet in there and keep them nice and toasty. And something that people may not realize is even inside, you have to have something under you. I've ran the temperature down in my room without underquilts on it, and you will get cold butt even inside. And for me, I like using this underquilt right here. It's a 40-degree by Hammock Gear. It's their premium series. It's full length. Really like it. And you can adjust it even inside. If you have a cold night when you want to cinch it up, you can adjust it using their adjustments that they have. And if it's warmer, you want to get a little more breeze, you can make it a little bit looser. And so that's my setup. Next, I'm going to talk about 3 items that are my favorite indoor hammock accessories. The number one thing we already talked about is this nice pillow. You want to get yourself a nice pillow if you're going to sleep in your hammock all the time. This is a pillow that I won, like I said, at a Hammock Forums raffle. But before this, I still had a blow-up pillow. I really like the blow-up pillows because you can get a good fit around your head. I'm sure that the other down pillows and solid pillows are good, but the blow-up pillows are my favorite. The second thing that I really like for the hammock is another item I've already discussed, is a nice top quilt. You can make, I don't know, a Costco top quilt or something like this, but I really like having the foot box so you can sleep just like you do outside in the hammock. And the third item I really like on my hammock, I'll turn them on for you guys so you can see, are these little string lights. My hammock. No, that's not necessarily just for indoor hammocking, but I really like that nice touch to when you get in your hammock, you turn the lights on, you can turn your normal light off, and it's really cool how these little lights, those lights are something that I added to my gear for taking on car camping and even short hikes. I might just throw them in my bag. They work on AA batteries. You can get them from Amazon for like $10, and they're really nice. And so in closing, that's my video on how to ditch your bed for a hammock and go to sleeping in your hammock full time if you want. It's really nice. When I first got my new apartment, I hadn't purchased a new bed yet, and so for about 3 weeks I just slept in my hammock. And some nights were a little rough, but other nights most of the nights were really great. And so I highly recommend trying to sleep in a hammock even in your house. Thanks, guys.